It is 6:30 and members of council are assembled. If you're ready to begin.
Hello and welcome to the council chambers. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Corporation of the Town of Saugeen Shores. It's committee of the whole meeting on Monday, March the 13th, 2023. And we're in the council chambers and it's 6:30. So first on our agenda is the land acknowledgement. I'm going to ask the Vice Deputy Mayor, Mike Myatt, to read that.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional lands and treaty territory of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which consists of the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash unceded First Nation. We understand this land holds immense significance to the people of Saugeen Ojibwe Nation. We appreciate those who live and work alongside us today and who continue the traditions of their ancestors as stewards of the land we are privileged to inhabit. We thank them for the contributions they have made in both caring for the land and shaping this community. We commit to truth and reconciliation, to acknowledging the truth about what happened to Indigenous peoples because of colonization, and to reconciliation, which begins with each and every one of us. As a local government and public organization, we are dedicated to learning about Indigenous culture, to fostering a better relationship with First Nations and their people, and we commit ourselves to actions that move us forward on a path to healing along with the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the disclosure of pecuniary interest and the nature thereof. You can make that declaration now or at any time during the meeting. Seeing none, are there any additions, deletions, or amendments to the agenda? I didn't receive any from the clerk's office, so we'll just keep going. We have no representations tonight via the open forum agenda line or the delegations, and there are no public meetings on the committee of the whole agenda this evening. So we'll move on to report of municipal officers. And the first report is 8.4 on the agenda. It's a community services report, and it's related to the Bruce Area Solid Waste Recycling Lease Agreement Renewal. And the recommendation is that council pass a bylaw to authorize a 54-month lease agreement with Bruce Area Solid Waste Recycling for the property located at Lot 12, Concession 14. And I'll call upon the Director of Community Services to take this report.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd like to recognize and introduce for council and the public, our operations manager, Larry Gill, who's just sitting to the right of me today. This agreement and the operations for our waste management and recycling do fall under Larry. So I just want to take this opportunity to introduce him to council tonight. The report and lease agreement renewal is a bit of housekeeping. The lease agreement between the municipality and Basra has been in place since prior to amalgamation of Saugeen Shores. Formerly, the agreement was with the town of Southampton. The lease agreement is for a 2-acre portion of the landfill property located at Concession 14. Basra operates the recycling and waste management facility from the leased portion of the lands. Basra is also the vendor in contract for the solid waste collection services for the town of Saugeen Shores. That contract expires in the fall of 2025 with an option to renew for an additional 5-year term. This is a good opportunity for staff to provide a high level or to provide council and the residents a high level update of the municipal blue box program transition to a full producer responsibility model. The province is making producers responsible for managing the waste generated from their products and packaging. Key goals of this initiative are to promote innovation, reduce waste, and lower costs for the ratepayer. In August 2019, the province announced that the municipal blue box program was to be transitioned to a full producer responsibility over a 3-year period between 2023 and 2025. Saugeen Shores transition date is December 31st, 2025. We aligned the land lease agreement with Basra to this date. There is the possibility and likelihood that Basra will continue to provide services to the community of Saugeen Shores for recycling and/or waste collection past 2025, and we'll work together with them for continuing discussions on their needs for land. As the transition plan for Saugeen Shores evolves, staff will be providing updates to council and residents on the program rollout and any impact to operations. We do not anticipate any interruptions to service. The recommendation before you tonight is that council pass a bylaw to authorize the 54-month lease agreement with Bruce Area Solid Waste Recycling for the property located at Lot 12 on concession 14. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome, Larry. Did you want Larry to have a chance to say anything or? No? It's in the past when we've had recycling related updates, we've often had a table with goods on it that we had to decide what could and couldn't be recycled. So maybe one of these days we can do that again. Are there any questions for the director? Councillor, or sorry, Vice Deputy Marat?
No, thank you, Deputy Mayor. And there's a couple of key things in here. I just want to make a comment about Bosra as well. And but the key thing in here is about the user pay. You know, you talk about that transaction, Saugeen Shores Blue Box, December 31st, 2025, where the full producer responsibility over 3 year. And that's big news. You know, I think it's important that we recognize that's going to happen by 2025. And so it's good that the you know, the users will be full responsibility for paying. I did want to say if council's interested, I've been attended 3 Bosra meetings now, and I toured at my request, went out and toured the plant a couple months ago, and it is really an interesting process out there. If you haven't been, I could arrange it for any member of council wanting to go out and do a tour. These men and women who get in and out of their trucks on a daily basis, hundreds of times per day, loading those blue boxes onto those trucks is not an easy job, and they do, you know, they don't get recognized a lot. And I just wanted to say thank you to the Bosra staff for all the work they do for all of the recycling, handling of all those products. So, but it was really an eye opener to see what goes on out there, and I could arrange it if Deputy Mayor, if any members of council wanted a tour. I think it'd really be enlightened, you know. So if I see a thumb, and I can set something like that up. So. Anyways, thanks to the Bosra staff.
It's a great idea. Anybody else? Well, then we will move on to the next staff report, which is in the same director's line. It's the Aquatic Wellness Center Management and Operating recommendation. And the recommendation is that staff approve the recommendation that the Aquatic and Wellness Center be managed and operated by the municipality. Colin. Okay. You know, when you have to chair, you try and ask the questions in advance, and inevitably the part B never comes up from my side. All right, so we have a recommendation that council pass a bylaw to authorize a 54-month lease agreement with Bruce Area Solid Waste Recycling for the property located at Lot 12, concession 14. All those in favor? Carries. So the next one is a staff report related to the Aquatic Wellness Center Management and Operating recommendation. And the recommendation is that council approve the recommendation that the Aquatic and Wellness Center be managed and operated by the municipality. And I'll call upon Director Schreider again.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In 2018, the town of Saugeen Shores signed an MOU with the YMCA. Staff, along with our consultant, had been working closely with representatives from the YMCA in developing a management and operating agreement and business plan for the operation of the new Aquatic and Wellness Center. In accordance with the municipal act regarding negotiations with a potential third-party operator, updates regarding the negotiations had been brought forward to council in closed session. After years of negotiation, council believed that an agreement that works from an operation and financial standpoint could not be reached, and on February 13th, 2023, the town of Saugeen Shores withdrew from the MOU with the YMCA. It's important to recognize the efforts of the YMCA over the past 4 years for negotiations towards the management and operating agreement and business plan. The town thanks the YMCA for their contribution and look forward to continuing to work together on other initiatives in the future. As requested by council, staff investigated and is presenting an alternative municipal management operating model for the new Aquatic and Wellness Center. Rationale to support the recommendation for the municipality to manage and operate the new Aquatic and Wellness Center include but are not limited to: the municipality will be in complete control of the management and operations of the center. All pricing, staffing, and operating decisions would be within the town's sole purview without the need to gain buy-in from a third-party operator. The potential concern with the ability to find a third-party operator to participate in management and operating agreement that considers the best interest of the municipality. Operating the facility allows the municipality to easily connect the Aquatic and Wellness Center's management philosophy to the town's strategic plan or corporate vision for serving town ratepayers. We can provide flexibility to the community, allowing patrons to access the facilities and its programs or paying drop-in fees. We will be able to identify and implement operational efficiencies, including staff, equipment, and resources. The town's image and identity will be tied to the Aquatic and Wellness Center project, along with the capital contribution. Residents and visitors will be connected to the community building managed and operated by town staff. And finally, the town will have full authority as it relates to financial decisions. The municipal management and operating model reduce the financial performance risk for the municipality. So since 2017, the average annual operating deficit of the Centennial Pool is approximately $346,000. That's the amount that it costs for us to provide the programs that we do out of the existing pool facility. The historical operating costs of the Centennial Pool are relatively low in comparison to other municipal standalone pools. This is attributed to the mechanical services provided by Saugeen District Senior School, minimal repairs and maintenance upgrades, and successful program options for patrons. It's imperative for council and the public to know the pre-opening requirements for the new Aquatic and Wellness Center. A phased onboarding of staff will occur prior to the opening of the Aquatic and Wellness Center while the Centennial Pool is still operating. In 2024, the impact of the onboarding plan is estimated to be about $981,000. This is the cost to keep the doors open at the Centennial Pool and prepare to open the doors at the new facility. This plan is essential to ensure aquatic services and patron experience is continuous and uninterrupted. The operating forecast for the new Aquatic Wellness Center is outlined on the third page of the report. It projects that in year one of the operation, the Aquatic and Wellness Center will cost approximately $600,000 to operate. In year two, the cost to operate will reduce to $400,000. And in year three, the operating deficit of the Aquatic and Wellness Center is estimated at $100,000, which is $246,000 less than the current operating deficit of the Centennial Pool. This is attributed to the wellness, the fitness, and the conditioning services revenue offsetting the deficit of the aquatic operations for the new facility. It is also anticipated that the incremental startup costs incurred between 2024 and 2026 will be fully recovered by 2030 through the net operating cost improvements of $246,000 per year, resulting in a 1.29% positive impact on the tax levy. If the recommendation for the municipality to operate the Aquatic and Wellness Center is approved by council, staff will develop an activation plan for the management and operation of the new center. Items to be incorporated in the plan include but are not limited to membership options, fees and charges, financial assistant program options, existing program integration, new program options, staffing plan, policies and procedures, hours of operation, marketing, and advertising. Council will be approving the 2023 business plan later in tonight's meeting. We are recognizing and highlighting for council's awareness that the preparation for the management and operation of the new Aquatic and Wellness Center is not included in that plan. If the recommendation is approved, staff will prioritize elements within the Community Services and Operations 2023 business plan, and adjustments will be made to accommodate this new initiative. We are extremely excited not only to build this incredible facility for the residents of Saugeen Shores, but we are honored to have the opportunity to operate the center and tailor the services and the programs for the residents of Saugeen Shores. It will be a community building with community programs and services for our community. The recommendation for consideration is that council approve the recommendation that the Aquatic and Wellness Center be managed and operated by the municipality. Also on the line tonight is our recreation manager, Lisa Billing, and I introduction to her and a shout out to her as she's been absolutely integral in these discussions and working with our consultant to provide this business plan and outline. So thank you.
Thank you. So again, we have a recommendation to approve the recommendation that the Aquatic and Wellness Center be managed and operated by the municipality. Is there any discussion? Oh. Go ahead, Justin. Your hand actually blends right into the background. So
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And through you, Deputy Mayor Huber, this one's for Shrides. How many employees are there at the Centennial Pool currently?
Through you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the question. Lisa, are you able to provide the number of staff at that pool? It might just take us a minute there, Justin.
while we're waiting for a response.
I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I can pull up the business plan, which has the totals in it. So that'll just be a moment.
Councillor Halpin, did you have a comment?
Yes, and through you, Madam Chair. I just want to say that I'm just fully support the idea of our staff running the aquatic center and all those reasons listed. And with my past experience, I just have a lot of faith in our town staff and the way they maintain and run our great recreational programs and manage our great parks and everything. So just a shout out and you have my full support on that.
Are there other comments? Manager Billings, do you have a response yet? Well, I'll ask a question then. I appreciate that your report says that in
Through you, Madam Deputy Mayor, can you hear me? Yes, I do. Yes, so we have about 23 employees right now. Our supervisor and then 2 senior guards that are.
Through you, Madam Chair. Sorry about the delay with that. So thank you to Janice, who's been able to pull all that up in our business plan. So we have a aquatic supervisor. We have 2 pool deck coordinators. We have 2 fitness instructors. And then we have a combination of senior instructors or lifeguards and aquatic instructor and lifeguards as well. When we can, we also have staff lifeguard in training as well. So I believe in Lisa's comment back was we have approximately 23 staff right now on board, but that will fluctuate a little bit depending on programs, the season, and also how many student employees we have with lifeguard to training. Sorry about the delay in response. Thanks.
That's
Janice.
okay. Thank you. My question is, you mentioned that a report will come back in the 3rd quadrant that will bring more information about the elements of the management situation with some suggestions about fees and memberships and that sort of thing. I'm a little concerned that I just want to confirm and be clear that we're not approving the creation of a whole slew of new full-time positions by this recommendation. That will come back via an update to, or what did you call it? You called it
Yeah, the activation plan.
sorry, the activation
Yep.
plan. And that will come back and we'll see the full-time situation versus part-time and that sort of thing. So we're not approving all of the position titles that are in this report. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Madam Chair. We will be coming back as the report notes with that activation plan that will have a staffing plan. When the town did the municipal service delivery review, we acknowledged that any changes with bringing on the Aquatic and Wellness Center would have implications related to the Community Services Department. So we have engaged our consultant Strategy Corp, and we will be looking at how that the integration can happen. We'll be bringing a detailed report back for council approval with the final numbers and the positions.
Thank you. Is there anything else? Well, then I'd like to just read the recommendation again and then get a nod of approval, if that's what's warranted. The council will approve the recommendation that the Aquatic and Wellness Center be managed and operated by the municipality. All those in favor? Thank you. We have 7 pieces of communication for Committee of Whole information. Are there any particular items related to or concerns or questions related to item 1, which is the Southampton BIA board minutes? Item 2 on the list is Bruce County Public Library accessibility concerns. There are 3 items specifically noted in that communication. My own question, and about that one, I'll make it to the director. One of them is related to the accessibility of doors at the Port Elgin Library, and then the Southampton situation, it's accessibility into the building and doors on washrooms there. I know that we're hopefully going to get to this cultural and heritage master plan, which may have some bigger ramifications in terms of the library setting in downtown Southampton. Like, what is your sense of how these 3 accessibility concerns will sort of go forward this year?
Thank you for the question, Madam Chair, and through you, myself and Lisa, our recreation manager, did meet with the branch manager for at both libraries to review their list of concerns. So what we did is we made a priority list at the Southampton branch. We improved the washroom accessibility to the best of our abilities within the footprint that we have. So that included replacing the toilet at a higher level, appropriate grab bars, and all the dispensers being installed at appropriate accessible levels. For the entrance for the Southampton library is that we are working with a contractor right now. We do have a quote to look at installing an accessible opener and new door system at the branch. But as you indicated, is that will be part of the discussions that we have with the town hall and the Southampton library with that overall master plan, and that is to occur in 2024. With regards to the Port Elgin branch, there was a few minor deficiencies that we corrected, and that we indicated that the accessible opener for the washroom in the Port Elgin branch would be added to our 2024 capital program.
Thank you. Item 3 is from the Municipal Innovation Council. Any comments, questions? Vice Deputy Mayor Myatt.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just to you to the CAO, Kara. Kara, will the office, the staff members still remain here in the town of Saugeen Shores at the NIA building next door? Will the operation still happen here?
Thank you for the question, and through you, Chair. There's 2 pieces of agreement that relate to the Municipal Innovation Council. The one is between the town of Saugeen Shores and the Nuclear Innovation Institute. for us to house them in our facility at 620 Tomlinson. And as we heard from the president of the NII, we did a delegation there last month. There is a request to look at the town's further support for them to stay in the facility. So that's one piece. The second piece is related to the Municipal Innovation Council chairing and lead municipality, which was somewhat interrelated with that relationship as well. It was a bit complex the way it was structured. But I would offer that the town, with being the home of the Nuclear Innovation Institute, will always sort of have that relationship with that facility being on our property.
The comment I had, Deputy Mayor, and it's just around the MIC is undertaking studies, pilot projects, and provided solutions to all municipal members that have resulted in cost savings. And I know this report really doesn't speak, that's not really what this report's all about. It's about the operation of it, but Kara, would it be a huge job to at some point outline to this council in the future where those cost savings actually took place? Is that something we could get a report? I know reports, right, take time, but that's something that could come back to this council and just highlight the cost savings. I'm always interested to see what, because we're into year 4 of partnering, and it's $40,000 per year for the Municipal Innovation Council. And when we talk about cost savings, it'd be nice to know what they are. So is that doable?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I believe we had a presentation either last June or July that highlighted those numbers for council, but I can definitely pull that presentation back out and I can circulate it. And I guess through the clerk, we could add it to as correspondence to the future meeting too, so it's available to for the
I
public.
appreciate that. Thanks.
The next item is on this list is the Saugeen Mobility and Regional Transit minutes from their February the 3rd meeting. Are there any? Councillor Davinsky?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Having read through the minutes, we all know that SMART provides a valuable and needed service. However, I still find it ironic that we provide this service for the challenged and including seniors, but we haven't provided anything for citizens in Southampton, Port, and Saugeen Ward desperately needing public transit to get even minimum paying jobs. So they go unfilled, and we know what that means. That means that restaurants close early. Everybody's talking about that. We need to revisit this and get serious about it. I know Bruce County is dealing with it right now, but we need to get serious and maybe edge them along. We always say we're the fastest growing municipality in Bruce County. But what happened to moving these people around on public transit? Taxis provide a good service, but they can be pricey. Can we at least get staff to come back with a report on this issue that can be followed through so we know where we are on this, because it's going to come up again and again as we grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davinsky. In the absence of the mayor, I'm sure that Mayor Charbonneau would have some update on what's going on with the county. Perhaps the CAO is aware of how the county's coming along with their research and their planning.
Thank you for the question. And unfortunately, I don't know where the county is at it, but with that work, but I can request an update. So respectfully, I don't know that our staff can come back with a report to council, but I can ask for an update from Bruce County and we can circulate that for sure.
Okay, at least that's a start. County tends to be slow, but I think we have to keep their feet to the fire and say, what is happening with this? If it doesn't work, we can't possibly put in public transit. Okay, but tell us that. But let's get this thing, if you excuse the pun, on the road. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Deputy Meyer.
Yeah, Deputy Mayor, I wasn't going to wade in, but I will, because I served on SMART for 4 or 5 years and did a lot of work with that organization and meetings with Grey County, their transportation study, and now they're running a pretty good transportation system there through Grey County. But I would, Councilor Davinsky, maybe you have read it, maybe you haven't, but the Bruce County Transportation Master Plan is a good read. You might want to take a look at that, and also SMART. I've been meeting pretty regularly with Bruce County Transportation to talk about how there may be some cross-border transportation between Grey County, Bruce County, and via SMART. But I concur, Councilor Davinsky, of transportation, the lack of moving people. I'm not talking so much about SMART, but transportation in general, moving people from point A to point B. We're going to 20,000 people by 2030, and transportation is going to become more and more important. It is now. It has been for decades, but not a cheap service, but it's something that we're going to have to probably address. So I'm with you. I think there needs to be we need to take a look at it. And but there is some good information out there with the Bruce County Bruce County Transportation Master Plan and Grey County's Master Plan. SMART's involved, but municipalities need to get more involved. I agree. So, but there's good information out there.
And I do believe that Councillor Grace, if she was here, she'd probably weigh into. So I'll let her know that anything she might add in, she can send some messaging through the clerk that can come to us all about her own experience on that board.
And in that regard, I talked to Councilor Grace because I wanted to make sure that this was good to use and she supports it. What's been said here. So thank you for that.
The next item on the list is a township of Ashfield, Colburn, and Wawanosh. It's about the future accuracy of the permanent register of electors. It's a circulation that their council has sent around to various members of the province. We can just accept it for information, or we could choose to support it. Anyone have a comment? Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not aware, and maybe our clerk Don can weigh in that we had a big issue with the accuracy of our voters list in the last election. I thought it was pretty good. The few people that I did run across that were not on the list were easily added to the list, and so I'm not sure if this is a situation that's unique to that municipality, or maybe some of the other smaller municipalities, or maybe even like, I know their municipality is very rural and has a large Mennonite community. Maybe that's part of the issue that they have, but I would suggest that we just accept this as information.
I don't know if the clerk, this clerk wasn't here during the election, so I don't know if you would rather that it bounce in the other direction. Are you okay?
Thank you, through you, Deputy Mayor Hubert. The municipal election list has a list of electors has always been fraught with some issues for years in municipalities all across Ontario. At this point, I don't have any specific comments to make about the list of electors for the town of Saugeen Shores. That will be coming forward in a report coming up as to the number of changes that were required. Certainly the Municipal Elections Act does allow for easy day of voting changes to the electors, to the list of electors based on identification. At this point in time, the changes that are being made to who is going to be updating the list of electors, that information is coming forward. The process is coming forward. It is going to is anticipated to be a better list because it'll be incorporating information from the other list of electors for the other senior levels of government elections. So to receive it for information certainly is appropriate. But if the council is looking for more information, we can certainly provide it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, the next item is, oh, sorry, Councillor Halpin.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair. I just want to say I agree with Councillor's point of view on that, and I'm not aware of any problems. And sometimes I just don't want to give any breath to people who are wanting to kind of bring into question the legitimacy of elections. And I think that's something that I don't want to give any breath to, I don't want to give any time to it. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is from the town of Grimsby, and it's again a resolution that came through their council. It's about changes to the municipal heritage register. Any comments? Well, in the absence of Councillor Grace, I agree with pretty much the whole list of items that they have in there. There's the timing of changes to the heritage register is it's immediate, and it's putting some restrictions on just everybody's gone if they're not processed for designation by a date, and then they can't even come back on whatever kind of thing happens after that will create a new kind of register. They can't be there for 5 years. It really does create, I think, an unnecessary situation when we've got a heritage register here that we built up with a lot of good work of committee members and support from the clerk's office and research with help from the Bruce County Archives. And it would be a shame to just lose it all. But the other thing is we built up that register through a lot of goodwill with residents and in creating a celebration of heritage. So I would support, personally, I would support us following through and perhaps doing something similar to this at a future date once the Heritage Committee has a chance to come forward with some comments and also some ideas from their perspective, because it's right on some of the stuff that they say. It's just gonna it's just wiping out a whole lot of good work that's happened all over the province. Any other comments? Then the last one is from the municipality of Trent Lakes, and it's about the oath of office. Are there any comments related to that? Seeing none, then we will move on to the adjournment. And I would ask for that this committee of the whole meeting of March the 13th, 2023 adjourn. Can I have a mover? Oh. If any of you have anything, at the last meeting, hardly anybody said anything. So maybe I'll start over. Councillor Davinsky had his hand up. If any member of council wishes to comment on some activities that they've been involved with over the last
Just
little bit.
one, Madam Deputy Mayor, and it's a sad one. Our timekeeper for the Saugeen Shores, Winterhawks, Doug Wood, died suddenly on Sunday. He had a medical condition on Saturday during the game. And Doug has been the timekeeper forever with the Winterhawks. And when he left the arena, he was alert. He was sitting up. He was talking. Matter of fact, he was talking about the game, the 7th game tomorrow that he was making plans to go to. But suddenly, Sunday, we lost Woody. He played hockey for the Port Elgin Sunoco's. Some may remember that. We would like to, I hope I can bestow condolences on behalf of council and the Saugeen Shores Winterhawks to his wife, Chris, and children, Kate and Stephen. And for the rest, if we win Tuesday, we go into the championship, and the rest of the games we're winning for Woody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Halpin. Councillor Mayette.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one thing, last week on Wednesday, I had an opportunity to drive with the Meals on Wheels crew and the March for Meals campaign they have going. And it was certainly an enjoyable and eye-opening experience to see the service that they provide to the communities, because we went as far as Tara. And just a shout out to them that they're doing a lot of good work, and to keep up that good work. And it was, and thanks for having us along. Thanks.
Vice Deputy Mayor Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I just want to throw out a congratulatory note to Saugeen Shores Minor Hockey. All four women's girls hockey teams have advanced to the provincials. They've all won their playoffs locally, and have all advanced to playoffs in April. I think it's second weekend in April. One is my granddaughter, and with the U13 that they've advanced, and all four of them. So it's pretty unique, pretty good for Saugeen Shores. And I just wanted to pass along congratulatory remarks to the coaches, managers, and trainers, and to the players for a job well done, and for all those moms and dads that sit in those bleachers throughout the cold winters, and game after game after game, early morning and late nights, and long travel days. Just congratulations to those four women's girls hockey teams that have advanced.
Councillor Duhaime.
Nothing to report right now there, Deputy Mayor.
Well, just to follow up on the comment about hockey, you can always tell when it's the Saugeen Shores versus Saugeen Shores game at the Coliseum. There's absolutely no parking anywhere. You would think you're at an NHL game when you see the level of bodies in the stands, but also the noise coming out of the Coliseum. And Sunday night was another one. There was an own sound Saugeen Shores game, and then Saugeen Shores versus Saugeen Shores, and there was not a parking space to be had for about a block and a half all the way around the Coliseum. I'll just mention that Pumpkin Fest, the organization, received some accolades from the province, and in particular, Joanne Robbins was the recipient of an award, and she was, in many ways added to the Hall of Fame, and that was a great achievement for her. She very much personifies Pumpkin Fest, or she has personified Pumpkin Fest here for quite a while. I'll also mention that there's all kinds of March break stuff going on, and today I happen to be in downtown Southampton, and some kids I know were in at the olive oil store, and Dave and Donna Riddell were putting on a program for kids that, if you don't think kids are willing to try stuff, you ought to stand there and watch 10 little people. They were 6, 7, 8, and 9, and they were drinking shrubs, which is, club soda with vinegar. And then they were making stuff, and they ended up with ice cream with various combinations on top. And you should have heard the buzz, not just from the ice cream, but the buzz coming out in terms of interest in olive oil and fancy vinegars is how I heard it described. So lots of March break stuff going on. Anyway, I will now ask for an adjournment. Can we have a mover? Councillor Davinsky and a seconder. Councillor Halpin, and 7:13, this committee of the whole meeting of March the 13th, 2023 hereby adjourns at 7:13 p.m. Do we need to take a break? Oh, all in favor? Anybody want to stay? Okay. I don't, do you want to just keep going? Do you need a break? Okay, we'll just move on then to the regular council meeting. I'll give everybody a minute maybe to change their stuff if they need to. And I'll call to order this regular council meeting of the town of Saugeen Shores on March the 13th, 2023. And again, ask for a disclosure of pecuniary interest and the nature thereof of anything on the agenda. You can declare now or at any point during the agenda. Seeing none, there are no public meetings this evening. And then we have adoption of the minutes from a couple of past meetings, the planning committee meeting from February the 21st, 2023, the regular council minutes from February the 27th, 2023, and the committee of whole minutes from February 27, 2023. And we have a recommendation that council adopt the minutes of the planning committee meeting, the regular council meeting, and note and file the minutes of the committee of whole meeting according to the dates that I just read. And I do believe we need a mover and a seconder for that. So moved by Deputy Myatt, seconded by Councillor Davinsky. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, then I'll call the question. All those in favor? It's carried. Okay, so then we have, the next item is a report, from the Committee of the Whole report from February the 23rd. The recommendation is that the council, that council, that council approve the municipal budget for the year 2023 as follows. And there's a chart, and then that the town of Saugeen Shores tax levy for 2023 be set to $20,989,461, and that the BIA levies for 2023 be set at $33,000 for the Port Elgin BIA and $29,350 for the Southampton BIA. And D, that council pass the tax levy bylaw establishing the 2023 tax rates at the March 13th, 2023 council meeting, and that council receive the 2022 annual fire services report for information. Now, do I have to read all these numbers? Okay, because we've read them a couple of things. Are there any questions, comments? Councillor, Vice Deputy Myatt.
That's okay, Deputy Mayor. Just really a congratulatory note again to Jim and Daniel and all department heads, really. Kara, all staff, there's a tremendous amount of work in this budget this year. And I really encourage members of the public to review, to take a look. I was talking to Frank Burrows today, or manager of Parks, and just talking about all the things that are happening in 2023. This budget is about to be formally approved, and there's just a ton of stuff going on out there in the community. And I really encourage members of the public to take a look. Yeah, we take a look at that increase we're passing along, but there's a lot of goodies in there that going to make this community a much more vibrant, better place to live. So I really encourage people to take a look at the contents of the budget. It is a good news budget, really.
First, I'll assume that you'll move the recommendation. We need a second or two. Councillor Myatt. Okay. Any other comments? I'll just add in one about the Justin, your hand wasn't up, was it?
Oh, it was, yeah, but I'll go after you. That's fine.
No, go ahead.
Okay, just for clarification, what we voted on the February 27th meeting was just for the tax levy, the roughly 5.95%, correct?
Thank you for the question, Councillor. So what happened on February 27th is that the budget was presented at Committee of Whole. And tonight is a recommendation from Committee of Whole to Council to do the final approval of the budget. The numbers remain the same as what was approved by Committee of Whole on February 27th.
Okay, thanks, Kara.
And my own comment was going to be about the fire services report. Just after we received this at council, I had the pleasure of attending a mutual aid meeting that was held at the Southampton Fire Department. And there were representatives from across the county. And during that particular meeting, a call came in for mutual aid support for a fire up in Hepworth. And we had talked about shoot times. And we had a little chuckle because the shoot time on that for the Southampton firefighters that were heading out, it was literally 30 seconds. So that'll improve the numbers next time, I'm sure. Anyway, any further comments? All those in favor? It's carried. Everybody's hand is Anybody opposed? Oh. That delay thing. Okay, there's a staff report now on the agenda for related to government relations associated with the Aquatic and Wellness Center build. And the recommendation is that council receive this government relations Aquatic and Wellness Center build report for information. Need a mover and a seconder? Councilor Myatt. Seconded. Councilor Halpern. And we will now move on to don't we have to have the report? No, I'm just gonna ask for the report. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. Wellington DuPont is a public affairs firm that was founded in 2017. They will lead Saugeen Shores on a path of advocacy with the goal of securing government funding for the Aquatic Wellness Center project. They will facilitate meaningful engagement with key stakeholders at the federal and provincial levels of government and work with them to find and focus on the most viable funding opportunities with the greatest chances of success. Benefits of the agreement with Wellington DuPont include but are not limited to key introductions and intelligence gathering, which includes strategy development, stakeholder engagement, Government of Canada, and with the Government of Ontario, and also ongoing project advocacy, which includes support in the project application and messaging and ramping up political support. As council is aware, the town entered into an agreement for the grant writing services with Grant Match. The town, with support of Grant Match, submitted an application for the Green and Inclusive Community Buildings Funding Program. The amount of the application is $13,495,000 and $56. The two firms, Wellington DuPont and Grant Match, complement each other very well for the benefit of the Saugeen Shores and the Aquatic Wellness Center project funding opportunities. So Grant Match supports the town for searching, drafting, and submitting funding applications, and Wellington DuPont gets us to the right places quicker and facilitates the connection with the right politicians and staff and creating awareness of the positive impacts the Aquatic and Wellness Center will have on our region. The timing of the opportunity with Wellington DuPont is strategic, with both the federal and provincial budgets advancing by the end of this month. Town staff, with the support of Wellington DuPont and Grant Match, is exhausting all avenues and resources to apply and acquire for funding partnerships for the Aquatic and Wellness Center project.
Are there any comments or questions for the director, Councillor Halpern?
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair. So it's a $60,000 fee for this for the 6 month. I'm sure this came up before, but how much are we spending on the other agency, the Grant Match?
Thank you for the question, and through you, Madam Chair. The agreement with Grant Match is for the first $1 million, 10%, and after that is 5%.
Vice Deputy Mayor Myatt.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and I'll be supporting the recommendation. I think it's a good recommendation. I do have a question, and I have to ask this tonight because I've had numerous people say to me, when can we donate to the fundraising campaign for the Wellness Center? And I've been media listening tonight, public listening tonight. Boy, it'd be nice to think there's $1 million donor out there to put their name on that building. And Lamont Sports Park was close to $2 million in fundraising. I don't know why we can't raise $2, $3, $4 million for the Wellness Center. People are wanting to donate, and so far I haven't seen any signs of a fundraising campaign. I'm going to ask you. I've had a little bit of discussion with our CEO about this, but Karen, I'm going to ask you this question: when do you see a fundraising campaign being unfolded here for the Wellness Center?
Through you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the question. Obviously, fundraising is a high priority. Council will remember that we approved a project coordinator position to support the Aquatic and Wellness Center build and fundraising. We've had some challenges in securing a candidate for that role, but we're hopeful in the next couple of weeks we'll have that position filled, and then we can start to move forward the fundraising campaign. Our existing staff have focused on the larger grant opportunities that are available right now because they had windows that were closing, that we wanted to ensure the town of Saugeen Shores had their name in for those funding opportunities. But then once those are complete, we will turn our eyes to the fundraising campaign.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just follow-up comment. And I've mentioned this to Karen and Shrives, we've had this chat too, but once those shovels are in the ground in June, July, August, whenever it is, it becomes increasingly difficult to launch a fundraising campaign once the project's in the ground. And so I hope sooner than later there'll be a campaign. And this is a shout out to the track club and to the breaker swim team and to the community at large that, let's start thinking about making a contribution to the wellness center once this campaign's up and running, because we all need to be part of footing the bill, no doubt, and the people want to donate. So that's good to hear, Kara. Thank you.
Are there any other comments? One of the service clubs I am involved with is waiting to, it's started to buzz. So thanks for that information. Well, we have a motion that council received the Government Relations Aquatic and Wellness Center Build Report for information. All in favor? There are none opposed. It's carried. And we have a notice of motion related to this has come to us. Councillor Mayette. Okay, well, so I need to get the mover in a second there. We're just gonna do it. Yeah. Just gonna let him talk. Okay, we'll let Councillor Mayette introduce his notice of motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Without great ado, that notice of motion was brought forward from AMO, Association of Municipalities of Ontario, and it's ample time that the provincial government took steps to end homelessness. This falls right on the heels of our fundraising on the coldest night of the year a couple of weeks ago, and the mover will be myself, and the seconder will be Bud Help, and this will come to regular council in due course, and I hope that we have a lively debate at that time.
Thank you. Now we're on to bylaws. So there are two bylaws. I'll be looking for a mover and a seconder that the following bylaws are hereby read a first, second, third time and finally passed and sealed this 13th day of March, 2023. The first one is being a bylaw to adopt the municipal budget. It's bylaw 16-2023 and to provide for the final tax levy and collection of rates and levies for the town of Saugeen Shores for the year 2023, and to provide for the mailing of notices demanding payment of taxes for the year 2023, and to provide for penalty and interest. And the second one is 17-2023. So 17-2023 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 75-2006, being the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the town of Saugeen Shores by Kaylee's Grain Incorporated for lands described as Saugeen Concession 4 part lots 10 and 11, Saugeen Township, town of Saugeen Shores. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Vice Deputy Mayor Myatt and seconded by Councillor Manette. Just 1 second. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Could
Councillor
I
Manette.
ask that these two bylaws be handled separately? Just because one is well, they're both important, but this one is of significant importance and the other one is a zoning change.
So that would be a friendly amendment to the motion.
Friendly
So,
amendment, please.
I can just ask the question. Okay, we'll do them separately. So is there any other discussion? Okay, then we'll do them one followed by the second. So the first vote will be on bylaw 16-2023 being a bylaw to adopt the municipal budget and to provide for the final tax levy and collection of rates and levies for the town of Saugeen Shores for the year 2023, and to provide for the mailing of notices demanding payment of taxes for the year 2023, and to provide for penalty and interest. All those in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? That carries. Second vote will be for bylaw 17-2023 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 75-2006 being the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the town of Saugeen Shores by Kaylee's Grain Incorporated for lands described as Saugeen Concession 4, part lots 10 and 11, Saugeen Township, former Saugeen Township, town of Saugeen Shores. Any comments? Councillor Myatt?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This, once again, I commented when this came through regular or through committee of the whole a couple of weeks ago, and it's just a further congratulations to the Cayley family for bringing this dream to reality, where they're going to have this wedding facility out on Concession 4. I think it's going to be a terrific place, and just noting that my daughter Sydney announced her engagement on Saturday to her partner. And I'm not sure if they're going to be the first, but they're certainly looking at places to hold their wedding. And I'm going to encourage them. This one being stone throw from my house would be a good one. Thank you. And I will be supporting this bylaw.
Are there any other comments? I think they already have some things lined up, but you could still get in there early if you went with an early date. Any other comments? Okay, then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that one carries. The next item on the agenda is that council move into a closed public session to discuss matters in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001, Municipal Act 2001, Section 239, Part 2, Item B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Section 239, Part 2, Item C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. And Section 239, Item 2, Part E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, and to approve the close to public meeting minutes from the previous meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Vice Deputy Myatt and Councillor Halpin, seconded by Councillor Halpin. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Carry. So we'll move into close now. At first, not really, but thanks. Well, the next item on our agenda is the reporting out of the close to public meeting. And we did receive some information and we've provided I can read this. We've council during council has provided staff with direction related to the disposition of land. And we've approved the closed public meeting minutes from February the 27th, 2023. So the next item on the agenda is the confirmatory bylaw, confirmation bylaw, the confirmatory bylaw 18-2023. It's a bylaw 18-2023 is being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 13th day of March 2023. Do I have a mover and a seconder for that? Councillor Mayette, seconded by Vice Deputy Mayor Mayette. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. And a mover and a seconder for adjournment. Can I have a mover? Councillor Halpin. Seconded by Councillor Davinsky. So the motion is that it's moved by Councillor Halpin, seconded by Councillor Davinsky, that this regular council meeting of March the 13th, 2023 hereby adjourned at 7:52 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Did you see that from Pardon? The innovation thing? Oh. It's over.